streamlining and what the other tasks that they said they would do. Another thing that we did in New York City, I don't know if other areas did it, is that we had to form these working groups to tackle these tasks. And the people on the working groups weren't necessarily, what we put on them were the decision makers. The ones that could actually make the changes, like the Department of Buildings, like Con Edison, like the mayor's office, that could help actually make the changes, not just somebody to talk about it, not just somebody to chart it, but somebody who could hopefully implement, that had the power to implement the changes. So when we get to February 2013, then they actually, there's a scorecard. Did we do what we said we were going to do? If we get there, which we feel pretty good that we're looking in pretty good shape now, we already have a plan for the entire state of New York. We had to submit that along with our utility partners, like National Grid is one of our partners, and so forth. And then, so if you do well, then you get the next phase, hopefully, and you have 2 years to do that. So there's specific plans with timelines, if that helps you, at all, of what we're trying to do, and it's very transparent of what we're trying to do. So it was very wisely, I think, laid out by the Department of Energy to give you these incentives, to have a timeline, to streamline it and help, lead to large-scale solar adoption.
Also, just and this will be incredibly useful for I would say in New York City, for the over 25 kW. For under 25, our CEO has challenged us to figure out a way to treat smaller PV like an appliance interconnection, which of course the utility doesn't have to get involved with. Or maybe like an emergency generator connection, which also the utility doesn't have to get involved with. So we have a ways to go on that.
Can you elaborate more on that concept of treating because I've heard a bit about this, and I know solar advocates talk about it, that maybe the electricity is less pure, even with an appliance, even a motor, a few cycle motor could actually cause problems that a PV system going through a very nice inverter wouldn't. Can you elaborate a little bit?
So the idea is sort of the dream is like a plug and play. So the customer goes to Lowe's and buys something off the shelf, and their electrician wires it in, and when it's wired in, a signal goes to the utility that just lets us know that it's been tested, it's self-tested, and it's UL certified, and it sort of does this self-check. I don't know how close we are to that, but that's the dream. Utility appliances don't do that, but because it is power producing, there is it's not exactly an appliance, but something akin to.
And not to speak on behalf of DOE, but DOE basically had released a funding opportunity announcement called Plug and Play through SunShot. And essentially it would be, hopefully, one day will be like toasters, plugging in these PV systems. But all the things that, for instance, I showed and many of these electric utilities are expressing up here is we still have a lot of work to make sure we understand what are the interconnection issues, what are the technical issues, what are the safety issues, so that hopefully we can get to a faster screening process, a safe, reliable plug-and-play type of concept. And maybe we'll get there. We're not there today, but hopefully at some point in time. And I don't know if you want to mention, when is that award for the plug-and-play? It's coming up soon, right?
Very soon. The awards. The solicitation you mentioned is the plug-and-play. I think it closed maybe a month and a half ago or so, and it's in the selection process right now. If I may, I can add something on about training of code officials and building inspectors. So I'm not sure if anyone here is from the Solar Instructor Training Network that we also fund. And this is a network of training centers, actually centered around community colleges, that we initially set up in order to train people to install solar on your rooftop. But what we found from this network is actually something really exciting, is that an opportunity in that a lot of local building officials don't know anything about solar. And so we set up these mobile training units that will drive to different community colleges around the country that basically has a mock roof on its back, and to show code officials and permitting officials, what to look for. This is a PV system on a roof, this is the inverter, this is how you connect them. And to demonstrate and to show live, firsthand, what it takes to install solar, what to look out for, what are the wrong things to do. We're trying to expand this network, but there should be 8 trucks roving around the countryside, stopping in various community colleges.
So I saw a question back there. Yeah.
Thank you. I just wanted to pick up on, you mentioned Suffolk County and on Long Island. About 2 years ago, we approached the town of Babylon and some other towns on Long Island. There's only 2 counties and about 10 or 12 towns. But we at LIPA asked them to voluntarily adopt standardized procedures for building permit review of solar systems because we had a large number of solar. We now have over 5,000 solar PV systems on Long Island, and once we approached 3,000 or 4,000 last year, we did end up getting all the towns. I believe all the towns in Nassau and Suffolk County have now adopted on a voluntary basis a standard procedure for reviewing the permits. And we gave them incentives to help them with training and to help them with producing forms and procedures. So there was a modest incentive, but it was well worth doing that to get all the towns for a standard procedure.
Actually, can I just build on that a little bit? In Massachusetts, we're working on what we're calling the Solarized Mass program, and some of you may be familiar with it. I'm going to speak a little bit more about it tomorrow, but the idea behind it is we're working with a select number of communities working on sort of a group purchasing model. And the idea behind the model originally was to try and reduce the marketing and acquisition costs associated with an installer that worked with multiple residential customers. If you could remove those costs by providing a large group of potential purchasers, could you reduce the cost? You can, in fact, and we've seen that costs come down significantly, but on top of that, we've been working with the communities. So we're working with 17 communities this summer, and we made it a competitive bid process, and we said to the communities, in order to apply, you had to demonstrate that you were streamlining and reducing your permitting costs. And so we haven't gotten to the point yet where we've standardized them, but in order to participate in the program, the communities needed to at least reduce the costs for the homeowner. So through those efforts, we found that communities are actually really interested in potentially doing it. They just need some guidance. And when you start to make the case that, yes, you could reduce your fees, and in response to that, you'll end up with likely additional systems, they realize that, the net, they're not going to lose money on that. So.
Let me just go back to this appliance thing one more time. So the UL standard, the IEEE standard that the UL test is based on isn't perfect. It's designed assuming a single point of interconnection, and it doesn't envision multiple interconnections on a single feeder. So there's still some open issues with treating multiple systems as an appliance on one feeder.
A lot of work actually does need to be done. If you think about some of these standards, they were developed with very low penetration in mind, single